All right, so I just got home from work and I had a bunch of people ask me today because I play around the stock market just a little bit. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've had a bunch of my friends who don't play with stocks ask me, what the hell's going on with the stock market right now? Like, why is Reddit all over the news and why is GameStop, where it's at and why is all this stuff happening? It was an attack on Wall Street, is what happened. So a bunch of people got together on Reddit and devised this plan over the course of several weeks, months. I don't know. I was not involved. Um, the way Wall Street manipulates the market and steals money from people every day. The way they do it is Wall Street has billions and billions of dollars, right? And they own millions and millions of shares of a ton of different companies, right? So, you've seen those graphs for stocks like that, right? And people do day trading where they're trading instantaneously. They're not buying a stock and holding it for 6 months. They're buying a stock and then selling it 7 minutes later for a little bit of a profit. But if you make a big enough investment, that profit's sustainable. So Wall Street owns millions of shares, and everyone watched these charts slowly go up. So, like, if I go and buy 100 shares of a stock, if I go buy $500 worth of stock, it's not going to make that chart move at all because there's billions of dollars in it. But if I had $30 million worth of a stock and I sold it all, it's going to make that chart do that. Okay. So that's not a huge drop. But what happens here is people that also own that stock, they see the stock doing this. And then they see that drop right there from that one person in Wall Street, that one company in Wall Street selling off their shares. People see that happening. People are like, oh shit, it's about to drop hard. So the other people, the other retail traders is what we call ourselves, the other traders that have that stock are like, shit, it's about to drop. And they sell. And so when everyone starts selling their shares of the stock, it starts going down. Now in options is a form of trading stocks. It's confusing as hell. I'm not going to get into it. It's a quicker, simpler, way riskier way. You can make a lot more money way faster, or you can lose a lot more money way faster. So what Wall Street does is they've got these millions of shares, and they're watching this happen. They buy a put. It's a type of option that you are betting the market or you're betting the stock price goes down. If you buy a put, every time that stock goes down in value, you make money. It's betting that the stock drops. And if it drops, you make money. Don't ask how that works. It's going to take an hour-long video. That's just how options work. You can buy a call. You're betting the price goes up and you'll make money. You buy a put. You're betting the price goes down and you'll make money. So Wall Street, when the stock's up here, they buy a put. So they're betting. They buy tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of puts. They're betting the stock is about to fall. And then they take their actual stock, their actual shares of this stock, and they sell $10 million of it. It does this. And then all the public traders, all the regular people are like, fuck, it's about to drop. So they start selling, and then it does this. So now Wall Street's, their put options are now printing money because they just they sold their shares up here, convinced the entire market to sell theirs, and now their put option they bought up here is just printing money all the way down to here. And then when it kind of starts to level out down here, Wall Street buys their shares back at a way reduced price. So they sold their shares way up here. They forced the market down while the market was printing money for them because of their put option. Then they bought their shares back at a way reduced price. So they made profit up here, they made profit up here, and they got their shares way cheaper than they were that morning. That's what Wall Street does on a daily basis because they have the money and tools to do so. So what happened here is Reddit got together. Tens or hundreds of thousands of Reddit users planned this out, and they did the same thing. They picked a stock, and they all put money in it on the same day, but they had a plan. Normally when that happens, it was a flatline stop. GameStop has been doing this for months. All of a sudden it does this. Wall Street sees that, and they're like, oh shit. That means all these people that have the shares right now are about to sell because they just made a huge jump in profit. They all had them down here for the longest time, but all of a sudden the stock's up here. Normally when that happens, people do get greedy and just take their profit. They're like, oh shit, I made 400% of my investment. I'm out. So when the stock does this, Wall Street does that put option again. They're like, oh, we're going to buy a bunch of put options because we know that's just about to go down. So they buy a bunch of put options. However, Reddit anticipated that. So on the first day, they only put 15% of their investment in there and it made it jump. The next day, they put another 15%. The next day, they put another 15%. And Wall Street continued to double down saying, this is going to drop, this is going to drop, this is going to drop. And it hasn't. It just continued to climb because Reddit users actually devised this plan to make it work. Wall Street has jumped out. They have admitted defeat. They beat them on GameStop. They beat them on AMC. They've lost billions of dollars. Now the SEC is getting involved because they're like, this shouldn't be legal. There's no way they should be able to do this. They did the exact same shit that Wall Street has been doing for decades. Literally the same thing, except they don't have a business license. And you don't need a business license to be good at stocks. You don't need a business license to talk stock advice with friends. They did the exact same thing that Wall Street has done to the general public for decades. TD Ameritrade, one of the biggest brokers out there, has literally banned trading for GameStop and AMC. Robinhood, the biggest user-friendly brokerage, especially for new brokers, literally was down all day, giving errors all day. When you could get on, you could not pull up AMC, you could not pull up GMC. It's a bunch of nerdy Reddit users that literally brought down Wall Street for the day. But that's the problem. The problem is right now, a bunch of people made a ton of money. I didn't make a cent. I was not involved in this. I've watched it. But the SEC is trying to figure out how to make this not happen again, which is kind of fucked. And it doesn't make sense. Like, why are these corporate CEOs legally allowed to do it, but private citizens can't? It's an open stock market. It's free to the public. Anyone can do it. They just found a way to beat Wall Street. No one's ever done it. They just did it. So that's what happened to the stock market today. Reddit beat Wall Street. If you didn't understand this, sorry, I'm not going over it again. Yeah. Oh, and if you want to start trading stocks, I know very little bit. I know a decent amount. If you want any advice, hit me up if you want to know what platforms I use or charting or whatever. Yeah. All right, bye.